The boardroom was silent when I made my announcement. 15 executives stared at me, but my mother's face showed the most shock. "What do you mean, you're resigning?" she asked, her voice sharp. "You're the chief executive officer of Morrison Industries. You can't just walk away." "Emma needs me," I said, keeping my voice steady. "The doctors say she has 6 months, maybe less. I'm not spending that time in board meetings." My mother stood, her chair scraping against the floor. "The company needs you more than your dying daughter. She has nurses, doctors, her father. What she doesn't need is you throwing away everything we built." I gathered my papers. "I've already submitted my resignation to the board. My decision is final." "Then you're dead to us," my mother said. She turned to my brother, David, who sat 3 seats down. "Pack up her office. Get her out by the end of the day." I looked around the table. My father had started Morrison Industries 40 years ago, building it from a small manufacturing company into a regional powerhouse. When he died 3 years ago, I took over as CEO. Under my leadership, we doubled our revenue and expanded into 3 new states. None of that mattered now. "I'll clear out my personal items," I said. "David can handle the transition documents." My mother's expression hardened. "You're making the biggest mistake of your life. That child is dying whether you're there or not. At least you could have preserved your father's legacy." I left the boardroom without another word. Emma was 8 years old when the neuroblastoma diagnosis came. Stage 4, aggressive. The oncologist spoke in percentages and probabilities, but I heard only one thing. My daughter was running out of time. For 3 months, I tried to balance everything. Hospital visits during lunch breaks, board meetings via video call from the pediatric oncology floor, reviewing quarterly reports while Emma slept after chemotherapy. My mother called it having it all. I called it drowning. The day Emma asked why I was always on my phone during her treatments was the day I knew I had to choose. My brother moved into the CEO position within a week. My mother took over as board chair. Neither of them called to check on Emma or me. My younger sister, Patricia, sent a brief text. "Mom says we're not supposed to contact you anymore. I'm sorry." I didn't respond. I was too busy learning how to manage Emma's pain medications, coordinate with hospice, and make every remaining day count. We moved into a smaller apartment near the hospital. I sold my luxury car and bought a practical set-in. I cashed out my stock options and put the money into accessible accounts. The family stopped including me in company communications. My corporate email was deactivated. My mother had my name removed from the company website. It didn't matter. Emma and I spent her good days at the park. On bad days, I read to her for hours. She loved stories about girls who went on adventures, girls who were brave even when they were scared. "Am I brave, Mom?" she asked one afternoon, her voice weak. "The bravest person I know," I told her. Emma died on a Tuesday morning in February, holding my hand. The hospice nurse said it was peaceful. I said it was the worst moment of my life. My family didn't attend the funeral. My mother sent flowers with a card that read, "Condolences on your loss. This doesn't change what you did to the company." After Emma died, I couldn't go back to the corporate world. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I discovered something during those months of caregiving. I was good at navigating the medical system. I understood insurance denials, treatment protocols, and clinical trials. Other families in the pediatric ward had asked for my help, and I gave it freely. 6 months after Emma's death, I started Peterson Medical Advocacy, just me, working from home, helping families with seriously ill children navigate the healthcare maze. I charged some clients and worked pro bono for others. The work was meaningful in a way the boardroom had never been. The business grew faster than I expected. I hired 2 assistants, then 4. We worked with hospitals across 3 states. I developed relationships with insurance companies, pharmaceutical reps, and patient assistance programs. Within a year, I had 12 employees and a waiting list of clients. I bought a house in a quiet neighborhood with the money I'd saved from my CEO stock options. Nothing extravagant, but it was mine. 3 bedrooms, a backyard, a mortgage I could afford. I put Emma's photos everywhere and created a small memorial garden with her favorite flowers. I didn't think about Morrison Industries much. Occasionally, I'd see news articles about the company, market share declining, contract disputes, executive turnover. I felt a distant sadness, but it wasn't my problem anymore. 2 years after Emma's funeral, someone knocked on my door on a Saturday morning. I opened it to find my mother standing on the porch. She'd aged dramatically. Her expensive suit hung loose on a thinner frame. Her hair, always perfectly styled, looked dull and unwashed. "Hello, Patricia," my mother said. "It's been 2 years," I said. "What do you want?" She held up an envelope. "I've been evicted. The bank foreclosed on my condo last month. I've been staying with David, but she paused. "He can't help anymore either." I didn't invite her inside. "Why are you here?" "I need a place to stay, just temporarily, until I get back on my feet." She glanced past me into the house. "You seem to have space. You told me I was dead to you." I was angry. "You abandoned the company when we needed you most." I was with my dying daughter. My mother's jaw tightened. "The company your father built is gone, Patricia. Bankrupt. David ran it into the ground. He made reckless expansion decisions and took on too much debt. Everything is gone." "I'm sorry to hear that," I said, and I meant it. My father had loved that company. "I have nowhere else to go," my mother said, her voice cracking slightly. "Your sister can barely support herself. David is being investigated for fraud. I'm asking for help." Before I could respond, my phone rang. I glanced at the screen. "Excuse me, I need to take this." I stepped back but left the door open. My mother could hear the conversation. "Hi, Jennifer," I said. "Yes, the Henderson case settled. The insurance company agreed to cover the full experimental treatment, $300,000. I paused, listening. "Tell Mrs. Henderson that Dr. Yamamoto's office has the approval. They can start next week." I hung up and looked at my mother. Her expression had shifted to confusion. "You work in insurance?" she asked. "I run a medical advocacy firm. We help families navigate healthcare coverage for catastrophic illnesses." "How many employees?" 15 now. We're expanding into 2 more states next quarter." My mother stared at me. "You run a company?" "A small one, yes." "But you quit Morrison. You gave up your career." "I gave up one career. I built another." A car pulled into my driveway. A woman in professional attire stepped out, carrying a clipboard. "Ms. Peterson? I'm Amanda Torres from Riverside Realty. I have the paperwork for the investment property you inquired about." She smiled. "The 4-unit apartment building on Oak Street. The owner accepted your offer." "That's wonderful," I said. "I'll review the documents this afternoon." Amanda nodded and handed me the folder. "Congratulations on your second rental property. You're building quite a portfolio." After Amanda left, I turned back to my mother. Her face had gone pale. "You own rental properties?" she whispered. 2 apartment buildings, 4 units each. It's a good investment strategy, and I can manage them alongside the advocacy work." My phone buzzed with a text from my accountant. "Q4 revenue looks strong. Your business cleared $780,000 this year. Well done." My mother read the notification on my screen before I could close it. "You made nearly $800,000. It was a good year," I said simply. "While Morrison was collapsing, you were building all this?" "While Emma was dying, I was holding her hand. After she died, I chose to build something meaningful. The business success was a byproduct." My mother sat down heavily on my porch step. "I thought you destroyed your life. I thought you'd be struggling, barely getting by. You thought I'd come crawling back." She didn't deny it. I sat beside her, keeping a small distance. "Why did the company fail?" "David didn't understand operations like you did. He was good at sales and relationships, but he couldn't manage the infrastructure. He expanded too fast, borrowed too much, made promises we couldn't keep." She rubbed her temples. "I watched it fall apart and couldn't stop it. I kept thinking if you just stayed, if you put the company first." "My daughter was dying." "I know that." Her voice was small. I knew it then too. We sat in silence for several minutes. A neighbor waved as they walked their dog. The morning sun warmed the porch. "Emma asked about you," I said finally, near the end. "She wanted to know why Grandma didn't visit." My mother's hands trembled. "What did you tell her?" "That you were busy, that you loved her but showed it differently." I looked at my mother directly. "I lied to my dying daughter to protect your reputation. Patricia, She died holding my hand, asking me to tell you she was sorry she took me away from work." My mother's face crumpled. "No, an 8-year-old child apologized for dying because she heard your voice on that speakerphone in the boardroom telling me the company needed me more." Tears streamed down my mother's face. "I didn't mean for her to hear that. I didn't mean. What you meant doesn't matter. What you said does. What you chose does." My phone rang again, my business partner this time. I answered. Patricia, the hospital administrator at County General wants to contract with us for their entire pediatric oncology patient advocacy program. It's a 2-year contract worth $500,000. I could hear the excitement in Tom's voice. This is huge for us. Schedule a meeting for Monday, I said. We'll review the terms. I hung up and stood. My mother remained on the porch step, looking up at me. You're succeeding, she said quietly, beyond what I ever imagined. Success isn't measured in revenue anymore, at least not for me. Then what is it measured in? I thought of Emma's last days, the way she'd smiled when I read her favorite stories, the peace on her face when she died, the families I'd helped since then, and the children who received treatment because we fought for their insurance coverage. Impact, I said. The difference you make when you choose correctly. My mother wiped her eyes. I chose incorrectly. Yes, you did. Can you forgive me? I considered the question honestly. I don't know. Maybe someday, but not today. Will you help me with the housing situation? I looked at the woman who'd chosen a company over her granddaughter. Woe disown me for choosing love over profit. I thought about Emma, who taught me more about courage in 8 years than I'd learned in my entire corporate career. I own a studio apartment in one of my buildings, I said. It's small, 400 square feet. The previous tenant moved out last month. Hope flickered across my mother's face. The rent is $800 a month, utilities not included. You'll need to pass a background check and provide first and last month's rent, plus a security deposit. Same terms I offer anyone. You're going to charge me rent? Would you prefer I treat you differently than any other tenant? She was quiet for a moment. No, that's fair. There's one more condition, I said. Once a month, you'll volunteer at my office. You'll work with families who have children with catastrophic illnesses. You'll help them fill out paperwork, make phone calls, coordinate with medical offices. You'll see what these families face every day. I don't know anything about medical advocacy. Neither did I before Emma got sick. You'll learn. I met her eyes, and maybe you'll understand why I made the choice I did. My mother nodded slowly. When can I see the apartment? I'll have my property manager call you Monday with the application. If everything checks out, you can move in by the end of the month. Thank you, Patricia. I didn't respond to that. Instead, I said, I need to go. I'm meeting with a client family this afternoon. Their daughter has leukemia, and the insurance company denied the bone marrow transplant. Can you help them? I don't know yet, but I'll try. That's what I do now. My mother stood, straightening her suit jacket with trembling hands. She looked at my house, the mortgage I'd earned, the life I built from the ashes of the one she tried to destroy. Your father would be proud of you, she said quietly. I hope so, I said, but it doesn't matter anymore. Emma was proud of me. That's enough. I watched my mother walk to her car, an old sedan that had clearly seen better days. She drove away slowly, and I returned inside to my house filled with Emma's photos and the work that gave my loss meaning. My phone buzzed with another text, a former client sending a photo of her daughter's first day back at school after completing treatment. We couldn't have done this without you. Thank you for fighting for us. I saved the photo to my collection, hundreds of them now. Children who survived because someone advocated for them, because someone understood the system, because someone cared enough to fight. The company I'd left behind was gone, but the legacy I was building, the one Emma had inspired, would last far longer than any quarterly report. That evening, I sat in Emma's memorial garden, watching the sunset behind the house I owned and the life I'd chosen. I did the right thing, baby girl, I whispered. I hope you know that. The wind rustled through the flowers, and for a moment, I could almost hear her voice. The bravest person I know, Mom. I was learning to believe her.